with this presentation, I'm going to show you all there's a lot of things that are hyperlinked in this PowerPoint. So when it comes out to you, the last thing I want is, oh, what is this? How do I Google search this? And going back and forth. So a lot of the information is hyperlinked as we move forward. So we're going to be able to see what a lot of the options are and explore some of those today. So when it comes to technology, again, the reason that we brought this up and wanted to talk to you all a little bit about is, number one, the feedback that you've all been giving us. We know clients we work with, people we work with, they are relying more and more on their cell phones and on technology and on tablets more than we ever have. The app system and working with apps has become increasingly popular, and we're seeing that there's tons of budgeting apps out there. There's tons of tracking apps. And so a question I get often is, instead of tracking my expenses, instead of writing everything down, instead of looking at it, is there just an app that I can use? And so we hear that a lot from our clients here as well, and we wanted to bring some of that information to you all here this morning as we move forward. So when it comes to technology, as I mentioned, there are tons of apps out there. We are not going to get into all of these this morning with us, but when we think about what our clients do on a monthly basis, on a daily basis, and interacting with their phone, and what homework we assign for them as they're getting to understand what their money looks like and understanding making different choices, we know that there's lots of options out there. There's apps out there to do basic tracking, note keeping, online baking. There's a lot of apps out there to do reminders, lists, meal planning, and budgeting. We do not have time this morning to run through all of these, and so instead of going through everything that we have here, we're going to focus just on a few apps that we've seen and we've heard to be really, really effective in working with our clients to help improve it. And so the first thing that I do want to bring to attention, and this is something, I have a picture of this in my office right here, because the biggest lie I tell myself is if I do not write it down, I'll remember it. It amazes me when people can remember on a consistent basis. What I've learned about myself is if I need to remember 3 items or 3 things, I'm good. If I need to try to remember 4, I'm going to forget 2 of them. And so how to write things down, and not only just writing it down, but making it convenient for you to go back and pull. And remember, I think it's something really important when it comes to working with any type or any aspect of our life when organizing it. If we have a list. There's a lot of research out there that's saying writing down the list is helpful because you remember it, but it's also the process of writing it down. I was talking to somebody the other day about learning styles, and she mentioned, well, I'm not a visual learner, I'm a doer learner, is the way she put it. Is I don't need to write the list, but I need to write the list because I need to go through the action. But as soon as I write the list, I can throw it away, and I'm okay because I've gone through the action of writing it down and having it there. So a lot of the information that we're going to have is how do we write things down and how do we access that information. The first app that I want to talk about that's a little bit different than the budgeting apps that we're going to get into is something called Remember the Milk. Remember the Milk is a great app that I can be honest that my bride and I use often. And so again, all of these are going to be hyperlinked. So let's go into Remember the Milk just to touch and log on in. So Remember the Milk is a fantastic app that's available out there. I'm pulling it up on my computer screen right now. And this is a task-based and a list-based app. I'll show you a few reasons why we like it. First, I can organize all of my apps and all of my tasks to do based upon when they're due. Here on my inbox, I can look at that. I can also make different lists. So if I need a list for work, if I need a list for personal, or if I need a list, what's my grocery list, right? If I called my bride on the way home from work and said, hey, honey, what do you need from the grocery store? She's going to give me a list of 5 things, and I probably will remember 2 of them and have to call her back. Well, by us having Remember the Milk, this is a place where we can have a joint account. She can go on and she can say, here are the things that we need. I can easily pull this up on my phone and say, great, well, I have the milk, I have the egg, I have the peanut butter M&Ms, I have the chicken, oh yeah, the lettuce. At the same time, she can add to this list throughout the day so it's not set. And that's one of the reasons that I really, really like this app. The other reason why that I really like the app is I'm going to go to tasks that are due today. So we have a financial coaching call this morning at 9 a.m. and then Isabel has soccer practice tonight. If, for say, I am not going to be able to make the financial coaching call, I can click on this app and it's going to give me a lot of options. And one of them is Give To. So if I'm sharing my list with somebody else, I can click this and I can say, I want to give this task to someone else. One of the ways that we've been able to use this at home, working with time management, working with doing different things, is if I'm trying to get something done and I'm not able to, well, then I can let everybody else know, hey, I'm not going to be able to get to this, or I can also push this list back to, or push this task back to another day. Something else that's really cool is if I want to go and add a task of create PowerPoint for a presentation, well, I can put this in here, but I have a lot of options too here. Well, first thing is add a due date. So when do I want this to be due? Well, I want to do this by the 30th. So it's going to go in there and it's going to tell me Friday the 30th. Also, I'm going to add a location. So I'm going to add a location at United Way and add the task. And what it's going to do, we don't see it show up here because I'm on today, but if I go to all tasks, it's going to be all the way down here that on Friday, I need to create a PowerPoint presentation for United Way. Remember the Milk is a really great and simple way to view what we're doing and how we're doing it. And the reason the reason that I became familiar with Remember the Milk is, number one, it was designed to be a grocery store list tracker, and the presentation last month was all about how are we budgeting for groceries, how are we creating lists. But at the same time, I had a client come to me and said, oh, I'm using Remember the Milk to track all my expenses. And so they were doing that, and they came down to lists. They created a new list that just said expenses. And every single time that they used an expense or spent something, they typed it in here. And they were easily able to do it on the phone. And it was a simple way that they were able to keep their lists, how much money they spent, what they were trying to do, all in one place. And this was a really, really great tool for them. So that's one that I definitely wanted to show y'all, and as we look like moving forward. At the same time, now I want to go through and look at the best budgeting apps for 2016. This list comes from several different articles that were written about budgeting apps out there. There are a lot of options and a lot of pros about a lot of these apps that are going to be really, really similar. I do think it's important to look at each of them as we move forward. I'm not going to dwell deep into many of them. At the same time, I do want to look at them. So the first one that we have is the Mint budgeting app. Mint, a lot of us are familiar with how Mint works and what it looks like when it comes to the computer and online screen. And so we have that. What's great about the app is that the app will connect to what you put into the computer. So it's going to connect, and it's going to be one central place that you can use a lot of different tools. It is free, which is another good thing. In addition, Mint can include a credit score, and there is a bill pay component when you go online. So Mint came out. It was one of the first places and one of the first applications where you could get all of your financial information together. They really added a lot of great features. So if you haven't explored Mint lately, I'm going to encourage you all to look at that and see what it looks like. Also, Mint was purchased by Intuit, which has QuickBooks and some tax software as well. And so they are trying to design a comprehensive one place where you can take care of all of your financial features and things that you need to do throughout the day and throughout the year. As we go through all these apps, I want to let you know I am not promoting one over the other, but just to take a good look at some of the things that are out there. The second app that I want to talk about is Pocket Guard. Pocket Guard is a little newer than Mint, and it's been around. One of the things that I really liked when I was looking at Pocket Guard was that it was very easy to see where the money was coming from in a single snapshot. There were not a lot of bells and whistles and graphs, and you can create this and create this. They try to make it really, really simple to see what's going on. It does connect to your bank accounts, and what's really important is its big thing is how much money do you have right now? So here's how much money is in your pocket. Here's how much money you have right now. This is available for Apple Android devices. It is available on the web, so the PC as well. And there's also an Apple Watch component to it. So if you need to check real quick, you can go to Pocket Guard and say, how much money do I have to spend right now? You can set up some really cool features inside Pocket Guard that makes it nice. It's a little bit simpler than what Mint looks like. The next one I want to look at real quick and just give you a run is You Need a Budget. You Need a Budget has been around for a while. as well, and it is a place that is a budgeting system that takes you to where you create your own budget, and the ideal is you can stick to it. The premise from You Need a Budget is you give every dollar a job before you get it, and then you easily are able to track where those dollars go. So this is very much a big budget system that they do a really good job. One of the things I will say though is that it is free for the first 34 days, and then after that it is $50 a year. They do have an app with it. It is also available on PC, so you can go on and use it as a money manager. I did not show this earlier, but I do want to let you know that each of the logos down here at the bottom of these pages is hyperlinked to the page. So after you get the PowerPoint and you're going and reviewing all this information to say, what is this, how does this work, I want to let you know the sites are there for you. The next one I want to look at real quickly is Good Budget. Good Budget is a really good place for having a digital envelope system. I know a lot of times we talk to our clients about creating envelopes where they put their money, how often are we spending, if we want to control spending for going out to eat, well, we put $20 every Sunday in an envelope for going out to eat, and once that envelope is empty, we stop going out to eat until that next Sunday where we can put $20 in. That works out really great for some items, but for someone who has lots of bills, lots of envelopes that they want to be spending in different ways, it's difficult to carry 15 to 16 envelopes with you in your purse or your wallet and pull out different money for different things. Good Budget is a great place where you can have a digital budget system for envelopes that go. Another really good thing about Good Budget is that you and your partner do not have to reconcile if you are sharing an account with someone. So if Elaine and I have so much money, let's say $400 a month for groceries, and I go to the grocery store on the way home to pick up that list that I had on Remember the Milk, well then I can easily drop that amount of money inside my Good Budget envelope. So when she pulls up hers on her phone, she can see how much money have we spent in the Good Budget envelope for groceries. It helps us stay on track, and it's easier than me going and spending money here out of the envelope. She has an envelope with the same thing. We have to get back together. Well, how much did we spend here? Where are the receipts? Where did it go? It's a safe place for it. The basic is free, which is really, really nice. For $15 for 3 months or $24 for 6 months, you can get into a Pro subscription. The Pro subscription does offer more envelopes. It also allows you to connect for more devices and have more accounts if you're sharing this with more than just 2 people going on there. And also for the premium subscription, you can have a budget history that goes there. The reviews for Good Budget have been extremely popular, especially if you do like the idea of putting money in envelopes, controlling it through that process. Good Budget is a really good place for you to be. And the next one I want to look at is called Envelopes. This is very, very similar to Good Budget that we just looked at. It is a digital envelope method. One of the differences here is that you can pay bills and capture your receipts to track your spending in real time. So this one here, you can pay some bills and do some things through it as well. Also, it's free for basic, and for $95 a year, you can get some premium options, which allows you to do a little bit more features at the time, and also has the opportunity to talk to a money coach. I'm always amazed when people have money coaching available or financial coaching available. Look it up. I tried for the last couple of days to get in contact with a potential money coach from Envelopes. Was unsuccessful. At the same time, I did not pay the $95 a year for that option, but I was curious to know what it was going to be like and what kind of services that we could get through to see how it was different from what we do. And again, what people are saying is that this is a great app to have for partners or different people who are spending money at different times doing things for back-to-school clothes or groceries or things along those lines. I know, again, my bride and I use the other system, and one of the things that we have found in the past is, well, I'll go shopping with one child, she goes shopping with another kid. Well, we are both getting things, and then we see something the other one might like, and next thing you know, we come back and we have twice of everything that we need. Having a system like this can work out really, really well for us. The next app that I want to look at is going to be Home Budget. Home Budget is going to be a really great option for people that want a lot of control with the ability to configure and customize what goes into the system. They can share the budget with the entire family. There's a lot of fantastic features. It is a lot of fun if you do like having the control. One of the downsides with Home Budget is there is a cost, and you do have to purchase for every single device that you want to use this app on. The prices do range. For the iPhone is $6 for the iPad. An iPad, it's $20 for an Android device, and if you do want to use it on a PC, it's going to be $15. In looking at this is probably the most comprehensive system and comprehensive budgeting tool that I have seen that's out there, but it is very much hands-on. I had a client come in about 3 weeks ago and master in Excel. I mean, just absolutely fantastic what he is able to do and produce in Excel. His issue was he thought that if he could do more with the money in Excel, he had more control over where his money was going, regardless what his behaviors and choices were on the other side. He thought that if he could take the data, pivot table it, cross-section it, filter it out, make some beautiful graphs going forward, that the money would just kind of magically start doing what it was supposed to be from a behavioral perspective, because in Excel it looked great. Well, we all know we can make spreadsheets look amazing, and 65% of statistics are made up 47% of the time. So that's not really a great behavioral change model to use. But it was a good start for this person, because once he had a control over it, he could start making changes and adjustments as we move forward. Home Budget is going to be similar to that. You have lots of hands-on control, lots of flexibility. You do also need to spend time working with this system as we have moving forward. The next one that we want to look at is Wally. Wally has been around for a while, and it is an expense tracker and one of the best ones that I have seen. Two really great features about it is not only can you log an expense tracker like you could if you were creating a list of things, but you can take a photo of your receipt and it will automatically log it for you. And so not only are you able to see where it was, but if I go to a big box store and I buy groceries, I buy clothes, I buy food, well, it's easy for me to write big box store $123 in my tracking, and that helps me know where my money went. But if I really want to get down and dirty and say, what am I spending my money on at the big box store, getting a picture of that receipt in there, it helps me easily see, okay, well, this much went with this category. I spent this much on household items. Oh, yeah, this I bought was a gift, so I need to make sure I categorize that differently. Another great thing is that when you have a bill or you hit a savings goal, inside you can set those, it's going to let you notify what those look like too. And so there's some really great tracking abilities when it comes to trying to save for goals as well. This is available for the iPhone and the Android, and it is completely free at no cost for y'all. One person said this was a great place to get started. It was an easy way for me to track the expenses and a lot less burdensome. The client who is using this that I know said, Richard, I couldn't track my expenses because I hated carrying around the piece of paper. Well, I always tell people that that's an excuse. If you don't like doing that, that's okay, but find a different way to accomplish the same task. And Wally is the app that they brought and showed me and where I learned about it. Another really great app that's out there is called Level Money. It's basically saying it connects to your bank accounts, and what it says, similar to Pocket Guard that we looked at, it's here's how much money I have today, here's how much money I have this week, here's how much money I have this month. Go ahead and do what you want to with it. And so it takes it from the perspective of, you know, we're not going to get fancy, we're not going to be restrictive of doing all of these different things in the categories and making sure that we stay within all these little parameters. It's basically, here's how much money you got. Go do what you want to, and it takes it from that side there. Again, their messaging is life is not about money and money management to get rich. It's about being able. They talk about being able to get a cup of coffee. Do you have the money, and are you able to do it? It's about being able to go out with friends. It's about being able to live where you want to. And so they really take that from the perspective of just looking at what those look like. There are some features inside Level Money that can show you how to save money and pay down debt based upon what you're spending, how much money you're spending for, and those things moving forward. And so it's another really great place where we can go and see what those look like. Spendy. Spendy is an app that's out there. Similarly, it's going to help you figure out where you're spending your money and helps you see where you can spend less. One of the great things about Spendy is it has some algorithms built inside of the system that really does a good job categorizing expenses and also saying, you spent this much here, here's different ways that you can spend less in these categories. So if you're going out to Starbucks often, and that's an example we use often in the latte factor, but if I'm going to Starbucks often, well, you're spending this much money on coffee. How could we spend less on coffee if coffee is what we want to be? And so there's a great analyzation tool that's inside of it. It's easy to use, and one person said that it made me want to manage my money because every single time I logged on and I was spending money, it gave me helpful hints or ideas in real time on how I can do it. The basic is free, but then you can get premium features starting at $1.99. One thing about Spendy that I did notice is everything is kind of an add-on when it comes to cost. Oh, if you wanted to do this, this is an additional 99 cents. If you want to do this, this is $1.99. I'm not sure exactly what the premium features do. I did not go and purchase them all, but when I went on and spent some time in the free and the basic, it was neat to see how they categorized everything and put everything together. The other thing I will say about Spendy is because it does an analyzation tool, the more data it has, the better it actually can do what it's designed to do. And so this is one that if people really want a basic budgeting tool just to see what's going on now, it's effective, but it's really effective once you have 2 or 3 months of data and a lot of information that's put into the system so that you're able to see how things change over time and really where there are some great opportunities to save money and spend there. Another one that I want to talk about real quick is budget. The one thing that people really liked about budget is that they could quickly enter income and expenses, and you could see how much money you have in kind of a transaction log. If you want to see, well, I'm doing this, and you want to use it as a base tracking system, people did like it for that. The one notes that I did see when I was talking to people is it doesn't do much more than Excel or some of the other free trackers out there, but it was a good transaction log, and it was designed specifically for doing this. It was, for simple, it is $1.99, but it is a simple tracking system that is easy to use. I did get this one for my phone just to see what it was like, and I did like it. It was simple, it was good, but again, it was a pretty basic look as we were going for the budget. Unsplurge. Unsplurge, this was probably the favorite app that I did not know about when I started putting this information together for y'all. And it's all about saving for splurge. Where you spend your money, how you budget your money, where it's going, how it's tracking, Unsplurge does not care. All Unsplurge wants to do is how much money are you putting into your splurge, and that is the goal, with the idea of I have a goal, I want to save as much money as I can for that trip, for the vacation, for the car, whatever it is. Well, whatever else I do to get there is irrelevant. It's all about saving. It is a free app that we see, and what I do like about it is it also, you can log on and get progress where it is, and you actually say, I saved this much money towards this goal. I saved this much money towards the goal. And there's a community out there, and when I got on, there was a lot of people that said, this is great, congratulations, you can go. So you get a lot of those one-ups as you move forward to different people, and you can log on to different forums and different groups about, yes, we're all saving for a vacation. So everyone's in there doing together. I'm always reminded when it comes to saving that there's a difference between saving money and not spending it. And a lot of times as we're communicating about money and dollars, we get those two confused. I would go to the grocery store, I logged out, and they say, Mr. Simons, you saved $14.85 today, and they circle it on my receipt and they hand it to me. Well, if I do not take the action of going back and doing something with that $14.85 to save the money, I technically did not save it. I just did not spend it at the grocery store. But then if I go from the grocery store and I go to another store and spend it there, well, I did not save any money. I just got more for the dollars than what I would have if I didn't have the discounts or the coupons at the grocery store. I love Unsplurge because it says, well, not only do I take that $14.85 and do something with it, but then I can also log it here to say, yes, I saved it. Yes, I'm saving for something, and this is what I'm doing moving forward. So Unsplurge was one of the really great apps that I did find moving forward with savings. Something else that I learned going through looking at these apps and putting them together is you can use more than one, and not one is going to work for everybody. I've seen people use Wally to track their expenses and then Mint to do and look where everything's going, and they can put it all together. We found that to be really, really effective as well. So for the second part here of the webinar, I do want to go over a few resources and just touch base on a few things with everybody so that they can see where some additional financial coaching and education resources are to hand out. First thing I want to highlight really quick is MyRA. Again, we had a presentation about MyRA, which you can find in the Thrive portal, and go through about how we have access to savings for everybody. Similar to the apps, this MyRA, it is linked to the website. So if we go here to MyRA, it's going to go through, and it's all about savings for the future. It is a retirement savings account through the U.S. State Department of the Treasury, which is available to anybody who's working. So this is a great way to start saving if you do not have access to a retirement plan, you do not have enough money to get into a commercial product. Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, Mutual of America, which sometimes have minimums or high fees if you do not have so much money. This is a great place to start with no cost or fees, and in addition, there's no risk of losing money. And again, remember in MyRA, there's not a lot of options for different investment options. Everything goes into a very safe place, and so you do not get a lot of interest here, but it's a great way to start saving. In addition, with MyRA, one of the other great things I like about it is you can save from a paycheck during direct deposit. You can save from your taxes. You can designate money to go from your tax return into your account, or also from a checking or savings account it can put in there. So I do want to let you all know that MyRA is a fantastic resource that is out there. An additional resource that I want to spend a little bit of time to is the Federal Trade Commission. This one of our financial coaches found and brought out, and the Federal Trade Commission has so many resources available in multiple language. They have different formats for different events. They're completely 100% free. They have free delivery. You can order, I'm going to say, as many as you need. I've ordered 1,000 of something at one time, and it wasn't an issue. And so there's a lot of bulk orders available. And so I want to look at this website here for a few minutes with you all as we're moving forward. And so as we look, so I have this linked to the free publications, right? You see, we're displaying one of 50 or 200 of 216 publications that are free. On the left-hand side, it's going to show us what topics they cover and also what languages you can get different things in. Finally, here on the side, you can get either booklets, tear sheet pads, and bookmarks, brochures, flyers. There's a lot of different things that you can put together. So as we go forward, here on the publications, it's going to tell you what language it's in, how you can get it, and what you need to know. And so let's go down and let's say, so identity theft, a recovery plan, right? Identity theft is real. We have a lot of clients talk to it, and we all know a little bit about what to do with identity theft. If it's just, hey, make sure you pull a credit report so we know what's going on, or if it's, hey, let's talk to a financial coach to make sure we get things into place. Well, this is great if somebody comes and talks to you. At the same time, each of these options, and I'm going to click on this one here, well, it's going to go and it's going to tell us exactly what it is and how to use it. So it's identity theft. It's going to give us a little bit of information. You can select the quantities that you need, and you can add the card. Again, these are completely free. Well, in addition, it can say, well, hey, I have this, but I may also like a real simple bookmark from the government, and also, so what to do next. So this is a small little brochure. So maybe the brochure's right, maybe the other one's right. But let's go in and look at this recovery plan. So this is a booklet. It's 40 pages that they will send out. And again, we can have a couple of these in each of the offices. Just set them out there so clients can go through. And I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. So what to do right away? What are your next steps? Steps for certain accounts if you have it. Special forms of identity theft. What's a sample letter? If I need to write a letter to somebody about, hey, I was identity theft, I'm trying to stop, what does that look like? Know your rights, loan information, annual credit report request form, how to go through that system. And so again, what I really like about all the information that the Federal Trade Commission is putting out is it gives a very simple to-do list if this happens. So if I call the companies where it occurred, call them. I can put a check on this. Ask them to close or freeze the account. Do I need to go and change my login passwords and PINs? Fantastic. Sometimes you might have to call them after you have filed a theft report. They will say, well, did it occur or not? Great. Well, what is the police report number? What is this? Or are you just calling to try to get out of it, right? So let's put a fraud alert. What does that look like? Cool. It's free. It's pretty straightforward. Get your free credit reports from these places. Now we can go to identitytheft.gov and report that that has happened to the FTC, right? How to file it with the police report. What does that look like? And then what to do next. Now that I have those things, what do I do to get all of the things taken care of? Correct your credit report. Get bogus charges out. What are additional freeze alerts? And so I'm going through this real quickly with you. And so it's one of those that it's very customer friendly, very straightforward on what to do if these things happen. We all know it's not this easy, and it's not one of those of just going step 1, step 2, step 3 for identity theft. At the same time, and we know it takes time, we can give all of our clients some really great options as we look forward. And so this is one of the really great places and great resources, the Federal Trade Commission, that I became aware of. And again, as I mentioned, I went through and I ordered a lot of information about different things. So here we go. Buying a used car, what to do. This is the other one that I do want to show you. And this is a tear sheet pad, which means that there's a pad of 50, and you can just tear one off. Real simple. So what do we need to do? What should I do before I start shopping for a car? Well, ask yourself, how many passengers? Do I need extra space? How much can you pay for the car? What are all these things? Great. Compare offers. So it's simple, easy. What do I do here? And it's 2 pages. So it's a simple tear off, and we can just have these 2 pages for individuals as we're moving forward. So the Fair Trade Commission is a great place to find some resources. We know it takes time and resources and energy to print out a lot of these things for all of our clients. At the same time, this is a great place where we can go and take care of a lot of different things that we have moving forward. One of the last ones I do want to show out really quickly that I found under credit and loans. So we move forward, a question that we get asked often as we're working with our clients, pull this off, is I want to show you this booklet here. It's in Spanish, and so as we go forward, it is debt relief scams. What is happening? What I like about the booklet, it is written kind of like a book about what it is. And so as we're moving forward to building a better credit and looking at some of these booklets, it does not look like a typical government pamphlet that we would have or an IRS document that's just a lot of information. They're very straightforward, very easy to use, and have been very helpful when we are working at clients, when we go to health fairs, when we go to resource fairs, when we talk about what we do, is to just bring a bunch of these in addition to the information here to say, here's how we can be helpful a little bit and actually make an impact with our clients that we are working with. So again, it's the Federal Trade Commission. There's a lot of free publications here. I'm going to encourage everybody to spend some time looking at those moving forward and as we're working with people. One additional resource that I do want to just bring to the mind of everybody is that the United Way Thrive has put together a directory of vocational training providers that are available here in the community. They worked really hard to make sure that this directory is up to date and valid with all of the great and the new things that are coming on. So there's a link to that site right there that you can cut and paste into your browser if you do want to see. What's great about this directory of training, it says who's doing the training, it lets you know the estimated cost of the training, how long it's going to take, what are contact information, and it'll give a lot of information here in the Gulf Coast area of Texas. And as United Way Thrive, Upskill Houston, and some of the great programs that are all working together, focusing on employment, this is a really good place where we can all come together to look at the information in one place. So I definitely want to include that in some of the fantastic resources that are available to us in the community. So at that time there, that's a real quick overview of some of the best budgeting apps that we've seen and some of the great resources that are out there that we can help utilize moving forward. So if there are any questions, if you do want to type them in the chat box, we'll give a few minutes for that. Or at the same time, if you have a great resource or a great app that you're there that you would like me to mention to everyone, please go ahead and put that in the chat box as well. And I'm really happy to share that information with everybody as well as we move forward. All right, excellent. Again, a date to remember, our next quarterly workshop will be taking place on November 1st in the Maybe Room at the United Way. We will be sending out some information and reminders about that to y'all. We're looking forward to getting everybody together and going through some great information about the quarterly at the quarterly workshop about financial coaching and what's really working well with your organizations and finding ways that we can best support you all. Again, here's the contact information for us. Dorian Cockrell is our United Way Thrive contact now. I do want to share with everyone that we are really excited that even though Rushka did move to New York and she's doing fantastic up there, she is still working with the United Way and with the Financial Coaching Group, and so she will be here at the Financial Coaching quarterly workshop with you, and she's still really involved, and so we're thrilled that she is still going to be active and working with our groups moving forward. In addition, there's my information, our 211, great Tanya, who's great at 211, who's our Thrive partner there. And then also, if you do have questions for Jessica Pugel about some of the workbooks and the reporting, that's her contact information there. The last thing I want to say is that we are going to be sending this information out again in a recording so that you do have it available to you. And finally, if you do have questions, or if there's other ways that we can help support you as you're doing this work, please let us know. We are under the assumption that no news is good news. And if that is not the case, please let us know. We are not here to say you need to do this better, you need to do this better, but we all know that as we're working on new programs and new projects, it does take a village to get everything done, and so that's what we want to do. We are here to support you when we want to. So with that being said, I hope that you all have a fantastic Tuesday. I appreciate you joining us, and we will be sending out the recording to everybody here shortly. Have a fantastic Tuesday.